Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
It is Thursday. All of our guests today, including Farhan, standing by, brought to you by Optic Foliar, the only lights-on spray with no damage and no burning to your plant leaves. Plant efficiency, nutrition, and results, all combined into a single solution for all stages of growth and safe to use on flowers. Spray it, see it, believe it. That's Optic Foliar. Visit this Made in BC company online at opticfoliar.ca. Back from the Grey Cup, joining us now from TSN, it's Farhan Lalji. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Very well. How was your Grey Cup experience?
It was good. I went in with really low expectations only because of all the COVID stuff around Grey Cup. And as Rick knows, you go to a Grey Cup and it's a week worth of activity and it's a lot of fun. And, I just thought that there'd be just a lot less going on with the festivals. But, the few events that they did have had a pretty good buzz. A good crowd, and then ultimately the game finished pretty entertaining. It didn't start well, like many games during the season, but it finished with a bit of a bang, didn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was outstanding, going to overtime, all of that. However, Farhan, we understand the ratings were down 22% versus 2019, and after we got that information, we heard this idea from several sources, including Ross Tucker, and a lot of people feeling that, and we look at the Lions schedule, I'm taking a long time here. Look at the Lions schedule for next year, 6 Saturdays. What about CFL playoff games or the Grey Cup on Saturdays where they don't have to go up against the NFL?
I don't think it's a bad idea. That said, you now wind up going up against Hockey Night in Canada,
Yes.
Which, depending on what's happening in any market, isn't a lot of fun. And we tried early round playoff games probably about 10 or 12 years ago. I think the division semifinals on Saturdays, and the ratings then took a bit of a tumble. Now, Look, ratings across the board are down as people become cord cutters and things of that nature. But the one thing for us is that I think at TSN we feel pretty good about the fact that the ratings during the regular season went up significantly, whereas all the other sports seem to be taking a hit. So yeah, look, you don't like to see that number. I've heard a lot of theories. Some have said that it was the halftime act. The Arkells put on a great show, but they're not maybe necessarily a great draw, right? And things like that that could have made a difference with your halftime numbers and things of that nature. So there's a number of theories. The fact that we were pushing over 3 million is still very good by Canadian sports standards, especially coming out of COVID. But, I think we're going to just kind of lean on what happened during the regular season as a positive sign as opposed to what happened on Grey Cup Sunday. But look, you're not wrong, and it's something they need to consider.
Talk to Neil McAvoy, the GM of the Lions yesterday, Farhan. Mike Reilly, what are you hearing? Is he going to come back? Is he not? They're expecting, I think, an answer in January. What's the latest?
You know what? I think people that know Mike well and even the club, I think there's a belief that he's leaning towards retirement. Now, look, that's not a done deal by any stretch. I think in these types of situations, you want to give yourself time to heal and to really, really process and not make a rush decision at the end of the season. Mike's obviously been through a lot in the last 12 months, the passing of his mother, everybody going through COVID and how that affects you in terms of your preparations going into the season. He's made plans for a post-football life as far as what he wants to do, having gone to the fire academy and things like that. So I think the organization is preparing for a retirement. Again, not a done deal. He's going to make a decision in January, and he certainly earned the right to take his time. But they're looking at the possibility of maybe Nathan Rourke starting, and then what you do in terms of bringing in some veteran player to give him some support, right? Just in the room and a bit of a landing pad if there's an injury or if things don't go well. But obviously, if Mike wants to come back, the club would like to have him back with open arms.
All right. Everybody in this city except Ryan Henderson is happy with the Canucks' 5-game winning streak. Can they keep this thing going? Now all of a sudden they're hit with COVID. The blue line is a mess. They might be calling up they're going to be calling up a defenseman today. Your thoughts?
Well, look, I don't know that they can keep this kind of a run going where you're just continuing to win and coming back from 3-goal deficits and what have you. They're a lot of fun to watch. And I think that, they can chip away at this. Bruce Boudreau talked about just win the week. And if you could gain a point in the standings on a weekly basis, great, right? And hey, look, they're a long way back. I know that after the last game, they were sitting there at 4 points back, but they were giving up games in hand to everybody. The more important thing right now, Rick, for me, is that their best players are playing their best. And the biggest problem this team had prior to the changes was twofold. The penalty killing was a disaster, and their best players weren't playing their best. And they're taking fewer penalties, so that's helping as far as the PK is concerned. But when you see Besser, when you see Horvat, when you see Pettersson come to life, I think that's the biggest sign that Canuck fans need to see. If they can make a run, great. Their blue line was pretty ordinary to begin with, and now it's really being tested. And the fact that Ekman, Larson, Myers, and Hughes are still there, they need that because the rest of the group, even when healthy, was really ordinary. So the fact that that's where their struggles are, they could probably tread water defensively with some minor league call-ups because the guys they're replacing aren't elite players on any level. But if all of a sudden one of those three on defense, Myers, Ekman, Larson, or Hughes, gets injured or gets COVID, then I think, oh my goodness, right? Like, what are you going to deal with at that point?
Also, Farhan, you said their best players are their best players right now, which wasn't the case earlier. Is there a particular reason for that? What does it have to do with Bruce Boudreau, or is it just one of those things that was going to happen?
Well, look, I think when the coaching change happened, not that this was a Travis Green problem. Rick and I think we both agree that the Travis Green's a good coach. He's going to get a head coaching position at some point again really soon, but that doesn't mean a change didn't need to happen, right? I mean, even Green himself knew they couldn't continue to lose. The one thing Boudreau did, first of all, when the change happened, I think everybody kind of exhaled a little bit that, okay, the other shoe dropped and now we can move forward. And then when Boudreau came, I think the one thing he tried to do was just make it a little bit fun and alleviate some of the pressure. He talked to Brock Besser about just continuing to shoot. Similar message to what Travis Green gave him, but a different voice produced different results, right? And, you see a team that there were some games earlier before the change where they played well, but they just weren't getting results, and you knew there wouldn't. You contrast that to their game a couple of nights ago, and they were playing really well, and it almost felt inevitable that they were going to score, right? So I think Pettersson still has a level to get to. I think he's playing a little bit better. I don't think he's the same dynamic, dominant player that he was a couple of seasons ago, but he's got a level to get to, and he's working towards that, and you can see signs of life, whereas Besser's shooting more. He's finding the net. You're seeing creative plays, and you're seeing just when you look at some of the goals they scored in that last game. I mean, the Miller pass to Horvat, which was just a laser beam for the game-winning goal. In the final minute there, like they just weren't even attempting those types of passes, and if they did, it would lead to a turnover that will go back the other way for a scoring chance. So I think more than anything, it's not just always going to be the results; it's going to be the confidence that you need to have to attempt certain things, and that's what I'm seeing that's exciting to watch.
Yeah, and hats off to you. You asked Bo Horvat, and we're going to let you go here, Farhan, but hats off to you. As we let you go, you asked Bo Horvat, hey, you having fun? And I think that's part of it right now, and winning helps the fun element. Farhan, thanks for this. Good to have you back.